Schools. Schools resemble the soil that holds and nurtures the seed. While we grow into a tree, schools continue to hold us and provide the foundation we value and require. From the little antics to the great heartbreaks and the knowledge we gain, our educational period is vital to our individual personalities, identities, and opportunities. But unfortunately, according to UNICEF, about 129 million girls are out of school all around the world. According to UNWomen.org, women make up more than 2/3 of the world's illiterate population, which is 39% of rural girls and 59% of urban girls achieving education to a certain extent. Moreover, only 24% of countries have achieved gender equality in upper secondary education. This is a global issue where girls all around the world are deprived of the education that we all deserve. For instance, in areas of Cambodia, the gender gap in illiteracy ranges from 48% of women to only 14% of men. In places such as Pakistan, India, Latin America, Egypt, Indonesia, and several African countries, the dreams of young women are cut off at just a budding stage, giving no opportunity for a flower to bloom or a book to be opened. The right to education is fundamentally a human right as listed in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 26. Establishing equal access to education essentially empowers women as well as the elimination of all forms of discrimination and violence against women and girls, as said by the professor of London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, Professor Christine. Moreover, the education of a female impacts generations to come. The more a woman is educated, the more knowledge she has on hygiene, health, and decision-making. For instance, in Mali, girls who complete high school have an average of only 3 children, while those who stop at primary have around 7 children. Furthermore, this could be fatal to the child, since studies show that a child born to a mother who has completed secondary education is more likely to survive 50% past the age of 5 compared to a child born to a mother with no education. So if this problem is affecting millions of lives on a global scale, why haven't we taken any action yet? Well, the factors impacting women's rights to education is someone who tags along the victim, justifying their acts as beneficial in the long term. As highlighted in literary works such as The Woman's Swimming Pool, victims face external conflict from their own families as they stop them from reaching their goals. According to the University of Wollongong, Australia, families tailor themselves to societal and cultural norms, all to the root logic behind patriarchy. Males have more autonomy and control over women, therefore they must only gain access to education. Another factor stopping families is child marriage. This occurs due to financial insecurities or cultural norms, as said by the organization Girls Not Bright. About 12 million girls are married before the age of 18 every single year, out of which most of these cases relate to dowry. When parents are in financial need, they get their daughters married off, and in return they would get dowry. Another factor is affordability and child labor. According to Project.org, over 300 million children engage in labor work, out of which half are young girls. So what even is the point of sending girls to schools if they're going to be the wife of another man or an employee of a labor workforce? Is the question asked by many families. We look beyond the sounds of wedding bells and shimmering lights to hear the perspective of survivors of the situation. Sunita from Indonesia was almost a victim of child marriage as a result of her family seeing her as a financial burden. She persisted against her parents that an education would give her opportunities that would benefit her family. And I quote, "I asked my parents, how much am I worth?" I also look back to my home. After all, every bloodline has a history of survivors.
My mom was stopped from her education at primary level because my grandparents never thought their girls deserved an education. My mom would say how she would have become a doctor if she got an education she needed. She missed a whole opportunity. And the local government didn't do much to support. If she would have been further educated, it would have given us a better start at life. And she also would have been happier since her life revolved only around us.
Governments don't encourage these victims to stand by their education. According to RightToEducation.org, failed attendance reports and inadequate infrastructures are overlooked, and families view education for girls as not so important. Government schools in villages lack the funding required to build a school with facilities that impact hygiene and safety, which provides more reasons for the families to captivate their girls, whereas private schools are expensive and families view a one-day marriage function to be cheaper. However, governments and families are minuscule roadblocks for generations to come. With the help of organizations empowering women, extensive improvements have been seen in the female attendance reports in schools. According to foreignpolicy.com, in the past 23 years, more than 180 million girls were enrolled for primary and secondary school, which displayed a 58% of increase throughout the years. However, the road does not end here, as UNESCO had stated that in low-income countries, around 53 to 80% of students could not read, meaning that enrollment alone is not sufficient and requires quality education to make sure females are allowed to go to school and is not seen as a waste of time, resources, and money. This could be implemented by the government making funding schools a priority and provide teachers with increments, and salaries are directly proportional to the quality of teaching, as highlighted by the School of Education. Families must also be encouraged to send their daughters to school with pride and boldness. Therefore, we, as sisters and brothers to the victims, must also encourage organizations that work to help save the girls who are held back from the education that they deserve. According to Teamstation.io, women account for 47.7% of the global workforce, meaning that they matter, and if we don't take action, we will face the consequences. We need to make a difference, and improvement cannot be stagnant. Otherwise, we are neglecting our next generation: pilots, doctors, engineers, entrepreneurs, artists, teachers, politicians, mothers, sisters, friends, and our future.
And if we can show just a fraction of their passion and courage and determination, then I'm confident that we can give all our girls the education they deserve.